Look, the noise around AI is, well, it's deafening, right? But if you cut through all of that chatter, there are some really clear signals of adoption that are already reshaping our world. Today, we're going to focus on those signals, what they tell us about right now, and what they mean for the future of business and work.
Okay, let's kick things off with a signal you can't ignore. This number, 700 million. As of last month, that's how many people used a single AI tool every single week. It's a scale that's almost hard to wrap your head around.
And yeah, you probably guessed it. That tool is ChatGPT. But this isn't just another popular app. What we're witnessing here is a fundamental shift in how people find information, come up with ideas, and solve problems. And it's happening on a global scale.
And that scale, it translates into sheer market dominance. We're talking about nearly 3 billion prompts being submitted every single day. User growth has quadrupled in just 1 year. And get this, it accounts for about 60% of all AI-related web traffic. ChatGPT isn't just a leader, it's basically setting the pace for the entire industry. Just think about this phrase for a second. A couple of years ago, it didn't even exist. Now, for millions of people, it's starting to replace, "I'll Google it." This isn't just a change in technology, it's a massive cultural shift in how we approach knowledge itself.
So that's the consumer explosion. But what happens when this massive wave of adoption hits the workplace? Is AI still just a personal tool people are curious about, or is it actually becoming core to how businesses operate? Let's look at the data.
Well, the data is pretty clear. AI is no longer on the horizon for businesses. It's already here. Over 3/4 of organizations are now using AI in at least one part of their business. So the question has really shifted from if companies will adopt AI to how they're adopting it.
And the nuance of that adoption is fascinating. Employees, by and large, welcome AI as a collaborator, a tool to help them do their jobs better. But there's this deep hesitation about AI taking on a managerial role. It really seems like we want a Copilot, not a commander.
This split between official company policy and what individual employees are doing has created a fascinating and pretty risky new phenomenon, the shadow productivity economy. It's basically what happens when people see a tool that can help them, but the organization just hasn't caught up yet. And this is not some fringe activity. We're talking about nearly half of all American employees being part of this economy. They're using AI tools like ChatGPT at work, often completely under the radar of their managers. Sure, they're boosting their own productivity, but they're also creating some serious potential security and compliance risks.
So this rapid, often unsanctioned adoption is creating what might be the single biggest challenge of the AI era. We have this massive adoption, but what about preparation?
And this is where the problem really comes into focus. While you see that nearly 3/4 of employees are using AI at work, only 1/3 of them have received any formal training on how to use it safely and effectively. That is a huge disconnect between usage and knowledge. This gap isn't just a number on a chart. It opens the door to some pretty significant organizational risk. We're talking about everything from inaccurate outputs to major data breaches and misusing confidential company information. It could literally undermine the very productivity gains that AI promises in the first place.
So, when you're faced with rapid adoption, a shadow economy, and this growing skills gap, what should leaders and professionals be focused on right now? Well, we can boil it down to 2 critical priorities.
The takeaway here is straightforward, but also really urgent. First, governance. You need clear rules of the road for AI, and that's essential. And second, training. You can't just hand someone an incredibly powerful tool and not teach them how to use it. These 2 things can no longer be afterthoughts. They have to scale at the exact same pace as adoption itself.
This week's signals show that AI is being woven into the fabric of our personal and professional lives at an incredible rate. Waiting around to figure it all out just isn't an option anymore. So the real question these signals leave us with is this: AI is here. Is your strategy?